Hello everyone, it's Dosblop, and today I'm going to be talking about Pokemon TCG Pocket yet again, but unfortunately it won't be all sunshines and rainbows. Yes folks, I'm putting the positivity I have shared aside, and I'm going to share negativity. Now it's no surprise that they would have screwed up eventually. I mean, this is a Pokemon game we're talking about. But getting to the main point here, I wanted to talk about the expansion releases. Expansions are releasing at a rapid rate, way too fast. The game released in November 2024, and 7 months later they've added 6 different expansions to the game, 2 of which being major expansions and the 4 others being minor expansions. In December we got Mythical Island, which is an extension to Genetic Apex focusing on Mew and Celebi. Then in January we had Space Time Smackdown focusing on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. A month later in February, another one focusing on Legends Arceus. March, Shining Revelry focusing on Shiny Pokemon and Giratina. April, Celestial Guardians focusing on Pokemon Sun and Moon, and now May, which has Extra Dimensional Crisis focusing on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. An expansion has been added each month since the game's release, and being completely honest, this is just way too much. I'm close to finishing Genetic Apex and Mythical Island, but haven't felt the need to touch them because once I get to 80% complete, another expansion releases. The only ones I've actually finished are Shining Revelry and Triumphant Light, which are both minor expansions and took using my luck on Wonder Picks to get the last cards. Which leads me to another point. Rarity. The pack RNG for this game is way too off, and seems to be more tied to cards you already have rather than new ones. Despite needing a certain EX card to finish off an expansion, it would rather dish out countless star and shiny rarity cards instead. Which, don't get me wrong, I do like me some shiny cards, but when it comes down to completing the expansions, it becomes more frustrating than anything. And the RNG isn't just weird for collecting necessary EX cards either. It's weird for collecting even uncommon and rare cards as well, which are necessary. And seeing the amount of so-called God packs people are getting that seem likely to have some connection to the Pokemon company, it really decreases the doubt in my mind that maybe streamer luck is an actual thing. That coupled with the monetization of this game, which let me just tell you, there is no reason you should be spending that much on so little in-game currency. Not to mention how scummy the premium subscription is. Paying more than $15 for it per month, which is more than I pay for Spotify by the way, and is only $5 away from a Netflix subscription, is nothing short of greedy. But what does premium get you? A special card every month that you can't obtain otherwise. Cosmetics you can't obtain otherwise. And 2 extra card pack openings every 24 hours. It is absolutely pay to progress and pay to collect. There's nothing more I hate about these kinds of games besides the monetization. At least in games like Fortnite, everything is optional even though still so. The cosmetics are overpriced, but this is necessary. But thankfully it's easy to not give in, so as much of a non-problem it is for people who know that spending money on this bullshit is unnecessary, it is a problem and has been a problem within the game market for a long while now. Besides those couple of qualms I have with this game, finishing an expansion feels rewarding and the support the game has been gotten is a lot. I mean, as I've already said, the game overall has been enjoyable as enjoyable a game like this can be, considering the total fuckery collecting in the actual trading card game has been, especially recently. I mean, it's never been in a worse state, even with the scalping phase around 2021. The videos I see just get worse and worse. New real-life expansions skyrocket in price the moment they drop, even despite the Pokemon company trying to manufacture as many cards as humanly possible. There comes a point where giving up might actually be a valid option, and this is one of those times. What they're able to manufacture at their faster rate is not even capable of beating the amount of degenerates who live off reselling Pokemon cards and pumping up their prices to ridiculous amounts. This comes at a time when I look down on the United States, which, deny it as much as you want, is the main country of which the scalping takes place, is looking to score as much manpower from its citizens as possible, and these degenerates have gotten to a point where reselling is for some reason a better option of work instead of working to make their country a better place and contributing to it. I have absolutely nothing but hatred for these people. They are the worst, no matter the amount of guilt they try to lay onto others. They are gross and I want nothing to do with them. Now going back on my point of the support, yes, the events and general support for this game are nice, but I feel like they are neglecting addressing certain issues with the battling in this game. A main problem with the battles that I've seen be criticized on other official accounts on Twitter is that when you are the first player and have your first turn in a battle, you do not get an energy to place down on anything. However, if you are the second player on your first turn, you get an energy. So why is this? To me, it just seems like an oversight, but it turns into a major one real quick. It comes down to when you're chosen as the first player, you just quit the battle because you're already screwed over and at a disadvantage. And a small extra point here is that despite the amount of cards that have been introduced to the game since its release, the card decks are still limited to 20 cards. Now you can make the argument that it's better at a smaller count, and I would agree. A smaller deck equals more creativity with what cards you decide to actually put in it, unless you just use the auto build feature for the decks, which is what I do most of the time because I couldn't be bothered. But with so many new metas popping up with each expansion released and so many broken power cards that come with them, at least raising that amount to around 30 would make it better and maybe even make multi-energy decks come into play, which seems to be something more and more hinted towards with the new cards as well. And yeah, pretty much that's everything I have to say about TCG Pocket. This will probably be the last video I do on this game. I'm not really a guy that makes sequels to things, let alone finishes things. So when I make a video like this coming off a previous video I made, I got enough interest in order to proceed with it. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.